The results of our strategy are encouraging. Our exports to countries other than the United States are up sharply. They're on track to double over the course of the next decade.
Today, Prime Minister Mark Carney broke ground on a new mine located around 120 kilometers north of Montreal.
Foreign investment in Canada is at its highest level in 2 decades. It's running twice the rate of other G7 countries, including the U.S.
The rain was so heavy that Mark Carney's speech literally started falling apart in his hands, and somehow that became the most important part of the entire day. Because while everyone expected Carney to defend Canada against Trump's latest pressure, he walked in sounding like someone preparing Canada to survive without the United States. What he revealed over the next 20 minutes changed how Washington should think about Canada forever. The event was supposed to be about a graphite mine worth billions. Local economic announcement. Boring headline. But Carney suddenly shifted focus. Exports outside the US are rising sharply. Foreign investment is flooding in. Defense partnerships across multiple continents. Critical mineral deals at unprecedented pace. Then reporters asked about Trump's pause on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is where politicians usually get defensive. Carney didn't. He calmly listed numbers. $40 billion in NORAD commitments. Arctic defense systems. New radar technology in Nunavut is designed to track hypersonic threats. Then came the line that changed everything. We will continue to cooperate with the United States, but we will also be cooperating with other partners. We're diversifying our defense cooperation as a NATO member. This wasn't a reaction. It was a statement of strategic independence. Here are the numbers that matter. Canada signed 56 critical minerals agreements with more than 10 countries in 1 year. Not just graphite, lithium, potash, rare earths, uranium. This isn't one mining project. It's systematic positioning. Over 20 new economic and security partnerships across 5 continents in 12 months. While Trump escalated tariffs, Canada quietly expanded relationships everywhere else. The NORAD reality, Canada committed $40 billion to Arctic defense infrastructure and new joint command structures. Canada isn't abandoning continental defense, it's expanding it. And that line about cooperating with other partners wasn't accidental. It was deliberate signaling that Canada's defense strategy no longer revolves entirely around Washington. For decades, Canada's military and trade strategy was built around one relationship, the United States. NATO membership existed on paper, but in practice it meant NORAD, it meant USCA. Few alternatives mattered economically or strategically. Then Trump applied pressure, threatened tariffs, paused Defense Board participation, made it clear that US-Canada relations were transactional. Canada was expected to comply. Politicians usually respond with defensive messaging, double down on friendship, make concessions to show commitment, but something else was happening quietly. While headlines focused on tariffs, Canada was signing defense deals with the UK, France, Australia, Japan and India, signing critical minerals agreements across continents. No major announcements, just steady work building alternatives. Carney just revealed what that work actually meant. The impact hits 3 systems at once. First, US-Canada relations. Trump assumed Canada would capitulate under pressure because it had no other options. This speech signals that Canada has just proved that wrong. The leverage dynamic is shifting in real time. Second, supply chains. Graphite controls EV batteries. Potash, lithium and rare earths control military tech, semiconductors and AI infrastructure. Countries competing with the US now have direct relationships with Canadian suppliers. Those relationships bypass Washington entirely. That changes global manufacturing. Third, continental defense. NORAD remains strong. But it's no longer Canada's only defense partnership. If US-Canada relations fracture, Canada has alternatives in the UK, France, Poland and Australia. And if you care about your wallet, supply chain diversification means potential price shifts. Energy costs could change. Goods availability could shift depending on where Canada prioritizes its exports. But the real story is deeper than all of this. Here's what Trump didn't expect. His pressure campaign didn't force Canada to comply. It accelerated Canada's independence strategy faster than it would have naturally unfolded. Carney didn't announce 56 deals in response to the Defense Board pause. Those deals were already signed. The speech was the public reveal of a strategy that had been executed quietly for months. Trump thought pressure would force compliance. Instead, pressure accelerated Canada's diversification. By being transparent about independence now, Carney signals that Canada's next negotiating move will come from reduced desperation, not increased compliance. That's the reversal. Trump became an unwitting catalyst for Canadian independence. Critical minerals aren't boring commodities anymore, they're geopolitical leverage. Countries with graphite, potash, lithium and rare earths are becoming strategic powers faster than anyone predicted. Canada isn't just a resource exporter. It's becoming a geopolitical player because of those resources. Every EV battery built without Chinese rare earths is built with a Canadian or Australian supply. That's real leverage. But Carney's line about diversifying as a NATO member signals something deeper. Canada's defence partnerships will include NATO allies, the UK, France, Poland, Germany and the Nordic countries, at the same level as NORAD. That's a strategic realignment. The North American defence umbrella no longer covers everything. What does this mean for future negotiations? Tariff talks, UMSCA renegotiation, Arctic issues, Canada now negotiates with options. Not hostile options, but credible alternatives. That changes the bargaining dynamic completely. And here's what Washington is nervous about. If Canada successfully diversifies, other US allies, Mexico, Korea, Japan, Australia, start thinking the same thing.